Hello everyone, today we are going to special castle situated in Czech Republic, Český Krumlov. Why it is Český? Because there is another Krumlov castle situated in Moravia, Moravský Krumlov. It might have not been connected to actual historical events, but it has so many stories of its own. Most of them are about ghosts, vampires, murderers and other Halloween kind. So, let's take a look. The settlement rose beneath the castle, which was built from about 1240 onwards by a local branch of noble Vitkovce family, descendants of Vitiko of Pršice. The fortress was first mentioned in 1233, deed as Hrumbenove. According to the local legend, the name derives from Middle High German Krumveauve, which can be translated as Crooked Meadow, after the bend of Vltava River. It was also mentioned in 1255 Frauendienst poem by Minnesänger Ulrich von Liechtenstein. Located at the fort of an important trade route in the Kingdom of Bohemia, a settlement arose soon afterwards below the castle. The Czech name Krumlov is documented as early as 1259. The grim story begins with his Vilkovce line, when all the family was extinct due to political plots and rebellions. In 1302, the Vitkovce line became extinct, and King Wenceslaus II ceded the town and castle to Rosenberg family, Ružomberkove. The one very famous story begins with the ghost of White Lady, the spirit of a beautiful daughter of Aldrich II Rosenberg, Perchta. She spent her childhood in Czech Krumlov. When she grew up, her father forced her to marry Jan of Liechtenstein, rich and noble widow, but mean and rude man. Since that time, her life turned into nightmare. In addition, with her husband lived his mother and sister of his first wife, who tried to spoil her life by any means possible. She tried to ask help from her father and brother, but divorce was not an option at these times. Only after her husband died, she finally was free. She returned to Krumlov, aged before time. She never smiled since then. Though she was very kind, the poor people loved her. She died in 1476 and started to appear in corridors of the castle, being afraid to leave the place one more time. Still, she considered to be a good spirit protecting the place. For example, she looked after her heirs and protected them. Once Nanny fell asleep, White Lady took young Peter Vok, the last member of the family, on her arms and tried to comfort him. When one of the nannies woke up and saw her crying, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Why you took the baby?" she replied, "By my birthrights, I am to take care about this baby. How dare you to shout at me neglecting your duties?" Then she put Peter to the bed, saying, "Take care of him, please. When he grew up, tell him I loved him." She kissed the baby and walked through the wall. When Peter grew up, he ordered to break the wall where the ghost left and found the treasure inside. Unfortunately, that didn't help Vok. In 1602, Peter Vok of Rosenberg sold Krumlov to Habsburg Emperor Rudolf II, who gave it to his bastard son Julius de Austria. Rudolf didn't have legal heirs, so he put high hopes in Julius. But Julius was mentally ill. In 1607, Don Julius invited Markéta Pichlerova, the daughter of a local Barbie, to live with him. Her parents agreed. Showing signs of schizophrenia, Don Julius behaved violently towards Pichlerova, including cutting and beating her. Thinking he was kill her, he tossed her body out of the window, but she survived and recovered. According to the local chronicle of Václav Brezhnev, she was so terribly damaged that she was no longer a single piece of body, and in this condition she was thrown by him to the rocks. But it wasn't meant to be her last hour, because she fell on a rubbish heap which saved her life. Once she was healthy again, she hid herself from him, but he kept returning to her mother, so Markéta had to go with him again. Don Julius requested that her parents allow her to return. When her father refused, Don Julius put him in prison. After 5 weeks, the father relented and Markéta returned. On Monday, February 18, 1608, Don Julius murdered Markéta and disfigured her body. Brezhnev recorded the event. On the 18th of February, Julius, that awful tyrant and devil, bastard of the emperor, did an incredibly terrible things, and his bad partner, the daughter of Barber, when he cut off her head and other parts of her body, and people who had to put her in the coffin in single pieces. Emperor Adolf did not defend his son and ordered his imprisonment for the remainder of his life. The castle was transferred to the Schwarzenberg family. So, another story regarding Klumvos is connected with Princess Eleanor Elizabeth Amalia Magdalena of Lobkowitz, who was wife of Austrian Hofmarschall Adam Franz Karl Ausbüß, hereditary prince, and later Prince von Schwarzenberg. The legend said she and her husband couldn't have children, but they say she was the magic adept. She ordered to bring wolves to the castle, and she drank wolf's milk. Howling had been heard for miles around, but it helped. She gave the birth of 2 male children, but the rumor spread and she was a vampire. Strange thing then on. After 31 years of marriage, her husband was killed in a hunting accident on imperial land near Brandish nad Labem Stara Boleslav, today in Czech Republic, by the emperor himself. Emperor Charles VI fired a deadly shot, and the prince just happened to be in the way. Afterwards, the emperor took Eleanor's son to his court in Vienna, and she was paid the parental maintenance of 5,000 guldens. Prince Eleanor's health deteriorated over the years, necessitating the end of a trip to Vienna, the last-ditch effort to find a doctor to save her. When she died, and very unusual, her body was subject to autopsy, which is unspeakable for the woman of her position. Even more strangely, she was not being buried with the rest of her family, but in the church back at Krumlov. A 2007 Austrian documentary, The Vampire Princess, author and director Klaus Stiegl, found evidence suggested that Eleanor was expected to be a vampire after her death. Her apartment burial confirms the vampire burial rites of the time, and a stone slab was placed over her coffin, as if to prevent her from rising. Furthermore, the documentary discovered that Eleanor von Schwarzenberg was a historical inspiration of Bram Stoker's legendary Dracula character. Many experts believe the deleted opening was actually based on a woman. Archaeologists, historians, and forensic scientists revisit the deep vampire history of the 18th century Czech Republic and reopened the unholy grave of Dark Princess Eleanor von Schwarzenberg, and uncovered her story once buried and long forgotten and raised from the dead. Well, now it is quite a tourist place with a lot of people and guides all around. Actually, the castle very big, it has more than 400 rooms in there and used as storage mainly. It is not allowed to make videos or photos in there, so I made these videos and photos where it was allowed. So not so much, but I hope you like it. Well, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you like the stories. Like it if you do, subscribe if you want to hear more. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you.